at the beginning of our story, Captain Barnacle had called an emergency pirate meeting. He said, hey lads, huddle up, gather around. We got some business to discuss. Now listen, we pirates have everything a man could ever want, am I right? And the pirates all shouted, Arr! We got all the gold. A private island. Coconuts. Oceanfront property. What do we got? We don't got R? No, we got plenty of R, but we don't have our some ladies, and I don't know about you, but I'm getting kind of lonely on this here island. So what are we gonna do? The pirates started scratching their noggins, trying to think of a way to find some beautiful brides, when wouldn't you know it, a blue bottle fell right out of the sky and nearly hit one of the pirates on his head. The pirates scrambled. The first mate picked the bottle up and said, I know, Captain. We brought a message in this here bottle. Well, that's a great idea, but which one of you pirates knows your ABQs? Well, which one of you knows your ABQs? I think it might have been the pirate of the black and white stripes. Yeah, he knew his ABQs. He grabbed a hold of a parchment and a piece of paper and started to scribble down what the captain said. Now write this down, Smarty McGee. Dear lovely ladies, we are stinky. Oh, wait, no, cross that out. I changed my mind. Dear lovely ladies, we are handsome, wealthy noblemen of good repute, looking for some beautiful women to be our brides. We got oceanfront property, we like long walks on the beach, and we also like watching romantic comedies. Sincerely signed, the wealthy nobleman. So he finished writing the message, stuffed it back into the bottle, and handed it off to the pirate with the strongest arm, Strong Arm Sam, who grabbed the bottle right by the neck and tossed it out into the Gulf Stream, which is that way. You ready, Sam? Give it a throw. Here he goes. He's up for the pitch. And it's off! Well, the pirates watched the bottle sail away when suddenly they all smacked themselves on their heads. Uh-oh, they said. Those ladies will be here in about 3 months, and we got 6 months worth of dishes piled up in our sink. We better get back to the ship. We don't want the ladies be thinking we're slobs. And so the pirates went running all the way back to their ship, where they started tidying their bachelor's quarters and scrubbing away the dishes. Well, meanwhile, the bottle sailed out of the Gulf Stream, where it met up with the mighty Atlantic. It bobbed up and down upon the waves for 3 weeks, till finally it landed at Southend-on-Sea near the city of London. But bright and early, these beautiful ladies were out gathering shells along the shore. And the ladies found seashells, they found sand dollars, but one of the ladies spotted something blue. She ran over and plucked it right up. She said, "Oh, Evelyn, look what I found, it's a message in a bottle." The ladies pulled the message out and started to read, and when they read that handsome nobleman wanted to marry them, the ladies began jumping for joy. They clapped their hands and smiled at the sky. They said, "Oh, we must find this handsome nobleman and marry them at once." But now the ladies had to scratch their heads. They said, "How on earth are we going to get to Buccaneer Isle, though? That's too far to swim." Well, the littlest lady had the biggest idea. She said, "Follow me!" And so they ran after her through the streets of London. They went running down King Boulevard. They skipped onto King Avenue, and they hopscotched onto Dock Street, where the ladies boarded a gangplank and looked up at a great six-masted schooner. They knocked on the cabin doors 3 times. And who should come out but the tall, the brave, the fancy sunglass-wearing Captain Cavendish? You can clap for him if you like. He was so handsome that the ladies put their hands on their foreheads and nearly swooned over backwards, but regained their composure and curtsied to the captain, who bowed in return, saying, "Ladies, what brings you aboard the Flying Pegasus?" They handed him the message in the bottle and said, "Captain, could you take us to Buccaneer Isle?" He took a look at the message and eyed the coordinates. "I don't know," scratched his chin for a moment. "Let me ask my sailor about this. Sailor, first mate Jonah, do you think we could take these ladies to Buccaneer Isle?" The sailor took one look at the ladies and his jaw dropped open. He had fallen madly in love. He started waving his hands, saying, "Oh, Captain, Captain, don't you remember? You promised us we could go to Florida to play golf." "Yes, that's right. Of course we could take these ladies." Said the captain. We could work on our long swing." "All right then. Ladies, join us. Today's your lucky day. Come aboard." And so the ladies followed the captain and his crew all the way over there to the top deck of the Flying Pegasus. They got a little lost. There we go. The sailors started hoisting up the sails. The captain steered the steering wheel, and off they went. The ladies made sure to wave goodbye to their friends and loved ones on the beach. Everyone waved back, saying bon voyage. They didn't know if they'd see the ladies again. But the first 2 days of the journey were marvelous, with the sun shining, the sailors and ladies dancing on board, singing songs and telling stories. They were having a grand old time. But 3 months in, everybody froze. They looked up into the north, and what did they see but big, dark clouds on the horizon? And then it happened. The storm of the century struck the Flying Pegasus. The ship was tossed like a tiny toy boat as the waves crashed in on them. But a giant wave smashed into the ship, throwing everyone over to starboard side, where they screamed. Another wave struck, hurling them to the port side. They screamed even louder. "Quick!" cried the captain, "grab on to the mast!" They ran into the center and held on to the mast for dear life as the rain pounded down upon them. A great gust of wind snapped the mast in half, hurtling them overboard. "Swim!" cried the captain, "swim for your lives!" They did the front stroke, they did the back stroke, they did the doggy paddle. But it was no use. They sank down, down, down into Davy Jones' locker. They folded their hands and prayed for a miracle. And wouldn't you know it, a school of mermaids came swimming by. "Follow us," said the mermaids, "we'll lead you to safety." Everyone got up and swam after the mermaids with all might and main. They swam through tangles of seaweed and treacherous waters, until the sailors and ladies collapsed onto dry land, coughing and gasping for breath. The mermaids started to swim home. But suddenly, they stopped. They looked down at the beach, and when they saw who they had rescued, the mermaids put their hands on their cheeks and giggled. "Why, look, those are some shipwrecked sailors. Our specialty. Let's get them." The mermaids started to sway their arms and wiggle their tails, singing their lovers' luring song. The sailors were instantly hypnotized. They sprang to their feet. Their arms stuck out in front of them like they were sleepwalking, and their eyes grew wide as the full moon. The sailors followed the mermaids, who led them back to their lagoon. Why don't we give our mermaids a round of applause for their beautiful dancing? Now, to make matters worse to our lovely ladies, the ladies were passed out on the beach. Who was out the next morning but Captain Barnacle, looking through his spyglass. "Oi, lads, let's see what the storm washed up last night. Well, we got some lovely ladies, a giant squid, some bubbles, some driftwood, and... Oh, wait a minute! Lovely ladies! Why, looky there! Our bottle trick worked! There be our brides, let's get 'em!" The pirate said, "Hold on, Captain, we've got an idea. We think we should, tie the ladies up first so they get used to our piratey ways and masculine smells." "Aye, that sounds like a great plan." So the pirates grabbed their favorite fishing net, and on their tippy toes, they snuck around the lovely ladies, where you don't want to clothesline them. That's not polite. They snuck around the lovely ladies to the other side of the beach, where they crouched down low behind a giant sand dune and prepared to attack. But wouldn't you know it, at that very moment, out from the ocean, landing right on top of the ladies, flew thousands of flying fish. And a giant Alaskan salmon. Well, that woke the ladies up. The pirates jumped out from behind their dune, and the pirates arred. The ladies screamed. Quietly, I suppose. They all ran over to pick up whatever fish they could find and started smacking the pirates on their heads. Yeah, grab a fish and go to town. Give them a good whack. Now, the pirates have been hit by many things before, cutlasses, cutlery, and cannibals, but never have they been slapped silly with salmon, flattened by flounder, clobbered by clownfish or socked by seahorse. Captain Barnacle knew he was in trouble. He said, "Oh, lads, we better get out of here. Quick, retreat!" The pirates went running all the way back to their ship, but they were so dizzy they spun around 3 times and fell crashing to their couch. They were knocked out cold. Let's hear it for the brave, lovely ladies! The ladies started to gather the fish on the shore and pile them up right over here by their shipwreck so that they had something to eat for lunch. But while the ladies gathered the fish, they also had time to gather their thoughts. And that is when they realized what grave danger they were in. The ladies came out to the center of the beach. They held each other's hands and started to sniffle. They lamented, "Oh dear, what trouble have we found ourselves in? Why, we've been shipwrecked on a strange island, attacked by pirates. Our sailors have deserted us completely, and all we have left to eat is this pile of sushi. But I don't know about you, Evelyn, but I don't like sushi." The ladies put their heads into their hands and were about to cry when they looked up behind them. What did they see? It was a unicorn. The unicorn spoke to the ladies' hearts, saying, "Dear ladies, do not despair. Your sailors have not deserted you, but they need your help. They have been enchanted by mermaids, but you must use the mermaids' one weakness against them, their vanity. Use your mirrors." And at that, the unicorn vanished. The ladies knew just what to do. They reached into their purses and held their mirrors up into the sun. And in their sweetest voices, the ladies called out, "You, mermaids!" The mermaids came slithering out over the rocks to see who called their names so sweetly. And when the mermaids saw the reflection for the first time in any mirror, they were enchanted by their own beauty. The mermaids rushed over and snatched the mirrors right out of the ladies' hands. They started fluffing up their hair, puckering up their lips, and batting their eyelashes. To get a better look at themselves, the mermaids climbed right over here to stand upon the rocks, where they posed in the sunlight. But while the mermaids were posing, the ladies followed their fin prints back to the sailors. They clapped in the sailors' faces, shouting, wake up, you've been enchanted, quickly now, follow us and run for your lives!" The sailors and ladies made the mad dash across the beach. When they got to the other side, they sighed with relief. But who was coming too? Captain Barnacle and his scurvy crew. The pirates came marching out of their ship. "Come on out, pirates!" They stopped right here on their battle lines, wiggled their swords in the air, and the pirates let out an angry "Arr!" Captain Barnacle pointed his sword and said, "Hey, you Cavendish, you got my ladies and I want them back." Well, Cavendish swished his blade and said, "You're not going to get these ladies back, you moldy pizza. But here's what you are going to get. Sailors, sword at the ready, slow motion, true." Thus began the great slow motion battle of Buccaneer Isle. Steel clashed against steel. Uh-oh. How did you die already, sailor? You're supposed to be the best sword fighter in all of England. Nevertheless, the ladies began jumping up and down, cheering for their sailors, cheering, "Go, sailors, go!" And although it looks like Captain Cavendish and his one-man crew are getting stabbed to death, I assure you, they really are evenly matched. Remember, we're not actually trying to kill this man. He'd probably like to go home today unscathed. Well, this battle could still be going on to this very day, had it not been for the mermaids who grew tired of their reflections. The mermaids put the mirrors on the rocks behind them and noticed their sailors were gone. The mermaids placed their hands on their hips and huffed, "Ha! We've been tricked. Let's get our sailors back." They rushed down to the beach, where they started to sing and dance more beautifully than ever before. The pirates and sailors froze. Their arms arms stuck out in front of them, and their eyes bulge from their sockets. The ladies have to do something, and quick. The ladies ran over to the sailors and covered their ears. But nobody covered the ears of the pirates. And so the pirates danced with the mermaids back to their lagoon. Leaving the ladies and sailors alone together on the beach. Well, the ladies let go of the sailors' ears. And for this part of our story, sailors, you can line up right over here next to me, side by side, facing that way. Ladies, you can head right over there to my friend, Sparkles. Line up right there. There we go. Now, the sailors, don't be afraid to wave your arms around and pretend like you're talking for this part, then. The sailors knelt down upon one knee. They looked up into the eyes of the lovely ladies, and they said this. Dear lovely ladies, twice now you have saved us from those terrifying mermaids. And we sailors have been thinking, no longer do we wish to sail the seas in search of beauty and adventure, for we have discovered all the beauty and adventure we could ever need here on this island with you. Lovely ladies of London, will you please marry us? The ladies put their hands over their hearts and smiled. They opened their mouths. They took a great deep breath. They stood on their tippy toes. And the ladies said, no. We're terribly sorry. You're very handsome and all. It's just that we've already promised ourselves to some wealthy noblemen of good repute. The sailors were heartbroken. They clutched their chests and began to cry. They sobbed so loud that the pirates heard them. They came running down to the beach, waving their arms, saying, wait, ladies, hold your seahorses there. Us pirates have a confession to make. There are no wealthy noblemen. The ladies folded their arms and said, what do you mean, no wealthy noblemen? Well, you see, it was actually us scoundrels that sent you the message in a bottle. And, well, we're not really, wealthy noblemen, we're just pirates. Besides, we just proposed to those mermaids, and you know what the mermaid says? They says yes. Why, they love us just the way we are. So you're free to marry whoever you like. The ladies turned to the sailors and smiled. Well, in that case, we accept your proposal after all. The sailors jumped to their feet, lifted their swords in the air, and let out a big cheer. It was a happy day on Buccaneer Island, but a historic one too, for Captains Barnacle and Cavendish met at the center of the beach and shook hands in peace. And then Captain Cavendish and his first mate ran out to the very center of the island, and they said, all right, everyone, gather round, mermaids, sailors, ladies, and pirates. Since we're all getting married today, we're going to teach you the Happy Sailor Wedding Dance. Are you ready, fellas? You put your right hand on your head, your left hand on your hip. Now start kicking your legs out doing a hornpipe jig, and slowly start spinning in a circle, getting faster and faster and faster. Stop! Switch arms, switch heads, switch legs, and spin the other way! Before they knew it, they were making up their own silly dances. And finally, at the end of their celebration, they gathered to the center of Buccaneer Isle, where they lifted their hands up to the stars, and let out the loudest cheer Knoebels has ever heard! They did the silliest thing of all. With their hands still up in the air, they turned to the audience and took a great big bow to thunderous applause. A very enchanting performance by all of our actors and actresses. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Before you go, we have a really big surprise for you. If you take a look around, you may have noticed there are 1, 2, 3, 4 video cameras